Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, a 70-year-old woman's in the hospital tonight after she was attacked while jogging in one Connecticut town. We'll tell you what happened and how she's recovering tonight.
It is your job to make sure he understands the extent of the wreckage he has caused.
Well, the jury is deliberating in the defamation trial of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. We'll explain what's next once jurors make their decision.
And a flight from Connecticut to Europe will soon be back in the air. Find out how it's the latest sign of growth at Bradley International Airport. But first, here on Fox 61 tonight, a 70-year-old woman's recovering tonight from a disturbing and unprovoked attack. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Thanks for joining us. Police say it happened while she was working out on Old County Road in Windsor Locks. Fox 61's Alicia Machado joins us live outside of the town's police headquarters to tell us what happened and how that woman is doing. Alicia.
Good evening, guys. Yes, one suspect is in custody who police believe acted alone. Tonight, we're also learning that the victim is still in the hospital with a severe head injury, and she may have broken fingers, according to police. A 70-year-old Windsor Locks woman is in the hospital after police say she was attacked on Old County Road while exercising Thursday morning around 10. 40-year-old Alexander Russell accused in the assault.
He snuck up on her, she never saw it coming, and he struck her with a closed fist on the back of her head so hard, knocked her to the ground and caused a good-sized laceration, and she was incapacitated at that point, and he simply left on foot.
Police say Russell was located by state police troopers near the airport and detained. The victim has a serious head injury and hand injury from the fall. Residents are saddened to hear of the news, including a neighbor who asked not to be shown on camera.
It's certainly shocking, but not surprising here in Windsor Locks because of the airport and many of the service industries. Many hotels, much more a transient neighborhood than it has been over many years. And those of us who are resident here realize that we have to be more cautious.
She also walks in this neighborhood and says she'll be more alert.
This one, of course, strikes me. I had neighbors come down right away after this happened, knowing that I'm an elderly lady who walks every day. I have a collection of sticks. I was grateful for their concern, and I will, probably be a little bit more careful.
Police believe Russell is not from the area, and they do not yet know why he did it.
He did not rob her, he did not steal anything. Once she went down, he moved on.
Police say he acted alone, and there is no immediate threat to the public. They are encouraging neighbors to be aware of what's happening around them.
Probably be a little bit more careful, but like all of us, trying to survive in an increasingly dangerous world, we know that we can't lock ourselves away.
Now, Russell has been charged with assault and reckless endangerment. He is being held on a $150,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. If you know anything about what happened here, contact police. In Windsor Locks, Alicia Machado, Fox 61 News.
Very disturbing. Alicia, thank you. All right, we want to get a check on the forecast. After several days of rain, the sun finally came out.
We were blinded by the light. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. Hi, Rachel.
I know the sun is such a weird sight after about 5 days with clouds, cooler temperatures, off and on rain, and a huge rebound in temperatures, not to mention the fact that just being dry and sunny was a bonus. Yesterday, high temperatures were in the 50s. Today, in the 70s, in some areas, 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Very impressive. And we have one more day in the 70s before temperatures crash. But even though it will be cooler heading into the weekend, it does look like most of the time will be bright. So looking good for fall lovers, but if 70s are your thing, make sure you carve out some time for yourself tomorrow. Right now, temperatures are in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. I had to show you this. Calm wind, I know. Not only has it been cloudy and damp the last, 4 or 5 days, but there's also been quite a bit of wind too. I wanted to show you though, some clouds are increasing tonight and we will see a chance for a spot shower early tomorrow morning. Then we break for sun. Most of the day is warm. And then there's another chance for an isolated shower later tomorrow night. Most towns do not see one though. Temperatures tonight in the 50s. Tomorrow, early clouds, break for sunshine. 70s again, and then turning breezy as we head into tomorrow evening as a cold front comes through. That'll bring that change for the weekend forecast. We'll talk about what that means for the Hartford Marathon coming up. All right, Rachel, thank you. In a Fox 61 follow-up tonight, a man accused of killing an innocent bystander in May has had his first court appearance today. 23-year-old Jose Estrada was arrested yesterday and charged with murdering 59-year-old Guillermo Gonzalez. Investigators say Estrada shot Gonzalez back on May 10th in front of a bodega on Zion Street. Gonzalez was taken to the hospital but later died. Police say Gonzalez wasn't the target of the shooting, but 2 other men were who spoke with investigators 2 days after that shooting. Estrada is being held on $2 million bond and is expected back in court on October 27th.
Well, new at 10 o'clock tonight, the jury in the Alex Jones Sandy Hook defamation trial has started its deliberations after listening to closing arguments earlier today. Fox 61's Gabby Molina is at Waterbury Superior Court tonight to explain what we can expect next.
The jury is not deciding whether or not Alex Jones is guilty. This is a civil trial, and the judge has already found him liable for defamation. Their job is to determine how much he owes the plaintiffs for the lies that he spread. The jury in the Alex Jones Sandy Hook trial has listened to all of the evidence and the arguments from both sides. And now, it's time for them to come up with a number for how much Alex Jones should pay 8 Sandy Hook families and an FBI agent in damages.
Your award must be fair, just, and reasonable.
The jury began deliberations near the end of the day Thursday, after listening to closing arguments.
It is your job to make sure he understands the extent of the wreckage he has caused.
The plaintiff's attorney suggested when making their decision, the jury consider the 550 million people Jones's lies reached, a number their expert witness estimated in his testimony.
You may say that's astronomical. It is. It is. It's exactly what Alex Jones set himself up to do. That's what he built. He built a lie machine that could push this stuff out.
Jones's attorney told jurors they can choose whether Jones should pay punitive damages, which are limited to attorney's fees and costs, and that it's not the same as compensatory damages for emotional distress.
Here's what they didn't tell you when they were asking you to pull the casino lever on money. You also get to decide a simple yes or no question here. Should Alex Jones pay punitive damages?
He argued this case is not about compensating the families for the loss of their loved ones or about silencing Jones.
I suspect Alex Jones will never be silenced. He's a mad prophet, warning of a dystopia to come.
The family's attorneys were able to give a rebuttal after the defense finished closing arguments. Their attorney asked the jury to come to a decision so the families won't have to go through this again.
Verdict, you know what that means? To speak the truth.
Friday will be an earlier day. The jury will start at 9:30 in the morning. As they get closer to reaching a verdict, stay with Fox 61 for any breaking updates. Our team coverage continues on the Fox 61 Morning News with Lindsay Kane. In Waterbury, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
We will stay on it. Gabby, thank you. New London police arrested a man who they say robbed a restaurant with a gun. 25-year-old Trevor Julius is accused of going to Wings and Pies restaurant on State Street after police say he and a woman he was with did not receive their Grubhub order. Police say Julius implied that he had a gun while taking food from the restaurant before pointing a gun at an employee when confronted outside before taking off. No shots were fired and no one was injured. Julius is facing several charges.
Well, we're learning new details tonight about a crash on Whitney Avenue in Hampden that shut down traffic in both directions for nearly 21 hours. Check out this photo from last night's crash. Police say 2 cars collided. One of the cars knocked down 2 utility poles. The crash was likely caused by one driver suffering from some type of medical emergency. The area of the crash was shut down as crews repaired those poles. One of the drivers, who's 23 years old, was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
New details tonight. We are hearing from President Joe Biden after he announced sweeping changes to his policies on marijuana. The president says that he's issuing a pardon on all federal offenses of simple possession for the drug. He's also asking all governors to do the same for state marijuana possession charges.
No one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, to educational opportunities. And that's before you address the racial disparities around who suffers the consequences.
President Biden is also urging the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to reconsider how marijuana is scheduled under federal law.
Well, new at 10 tonight, Senator Richard Blumenthal and 3 other New England senators are criticizing Starbucks, accusing the company of union busting as workers at hundreds of locations unionize. Senator Blumenthal, along with Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Ed Markey, sent a letter this week to the interim CEO Howard Schultz, as well as the board of Starbucks. The senators say that Starbucks is intimidating employees to prevent them from forming or joining unions, which would be illegal under the National Labor Relations Act. Workers at 2 Connecticut Starbucks locations in West Hartford and Vernon have voted in favor of unionizing.
And new at 10, General Dynamics Electric Boat has been awarded a more than $500 million contract to work on Virginia-class attack submarines. The modified Navy contract is for lead yard support, developmental studies, and design efforts related to the subs. Work will be performed at EB in Groton and Newport News in Virginia. EB's president says the company is proud to support the evolving Virginia class over the last 2 decades. The work is expected to be done by next October. And there is some big news out of Bradley International Airport tonight. Aer Lingus will resume its flights to Ireland beginning in March. It will operate daily through next October, bringing transatlantic travel back to Bradley. Service on Aer Lingus at Bradley was paused in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Connecticut Airport Authority's executive director says air travel is on the rebound and they're only expecting that demand to grow. Kevin Dillon talking about it on a taping of The Real Story tonight.
We have recovered very nicely. Right now, we're only about 10% down as compared to our pre-pandemic numbers. And I'm hoping as we progress into 2023, we'll be right back there.
Dillon says leisure travel has rebounded well. Join our conversation with Connecticut Airport Authority Executive Director Kevin Dillon this Sunday at 10 a.m. on The Real Story.